Happy Monday! Here we are again at Pine Needles Quilt and Sew for Monday Morning Quilting Quickies. Today I want to mix some of the rulers that we've been talking about together a little bit to make something a little different. This is called the Diamond Dance Table Runner, and we're going to be using the bias triangle, the half rectangle, and also the half square triangle that we used back in session 1 of Monday Morning Quilting Quickies. So we're going to mix them together here in this table runner. So you can see last week we made a star using these two rulers. Today we're going to make some different shapes of diamonds. So the bias triangle, if you look right here, this is one, and then our half rectangle will go on both sides of this, and then we're going to put those together here. Put two, here's the block, here's two together here, and then we simply have two half square triangles put together here, and this kind of makes a flying goose, only it's two sets of half square triangles. This makes a different kind of a design using two kinds of rulers. Today I'm just going to review again how to use the bias triangle and the half rectangle ruler. This time you'll see that we've used the lighter colored fabric for our peak block. So when we go to cut these, we can just cut them straight out of a piece of fabric, and once again 4.5 inches is what I'm using here. So we're going to take our ruler and we're going to place it on the fabric with the 4.5 inch line at the bottom and our blunt tip at the top, and we're simply going to cut up one side, down the other. This is a waste piece, or you can recycle it to make one of these if you would like. And we're simply going to turn our ruler over, and we're going to cut on the other side, and we're just going to go down until we get as many of these as we need. Now for our spikes, this is very important that we get a match set, one on each side, like that. So we have to have right sides together for these to make our spikes. So I would probably trim up the side, and I would use a straight ruler to do this, but for this I'm just to make sure we start with a straight edge here. So once again, we have to read Nifty Notions from the front. We're just going to place this ruler on our fabric, 4.5 inch line down here, the blunt tip at the top, and we're going to cut this angle cut, move this away, and once again, this little triangle that you need to cut off here, it's very important that you do this. It's one more little step, but this will make it so easy to go together, and you won't have to use any pins to make this block. And we're going to flip the ruler over, so now it's upside down. The 4.5 inch line up here at the top. This is straight with the world there, and we're going to cut here, and again this little tiny triangle we have to cut off is down here at the bottom, and we're just going to cut that off. So when we open these up, now we have a matching set, and this guy goes in the middle. When you go to sew this, there is just a little bit of trick to do it. Of course, the blunt tip is at the top, and the two blunt tips are at the bottom down here. But what we're going to do is take this piece, so we're going to go right to left, and we're going to place this like this. So the little thing that we cut off down here lines all this up, so we just have a little 1/4 inch triangle down there. So that's where we're going to begin sewing, and we're going to sew up to the top from the bottom, like on here. We're going to start here, and this is our 1/4 inch, right where that triangle begins. We're going to sew up to the top, and then when we open this up and finger press like this, we have this little guy hanging off the top. And what we're going to do here is take our other triangle, match that little triangle exactly up there, because that's our 1/4 inch. Whoops. Well, we're going to match it up here, and then this is wrong sides, but this isn't going to work. So anyway, I'll just use this one so you can see. even though it's the wrong color. We don't take out bloopers here at Quilting Quickies. Anyways, you're going to line this up like this, and this little triangle is going to be there, and then this, of course, is going to be light blue, and when we turn it over, we get a unit that looks like this. Now, for these, I'll just take a quick minute and just review really quickly on the half square triangles. Not going to spend a lot of time on this, but remember, we did the half square triangles. This is the half square triangle ruler. Greatest way to make half square triangles in the world. Just clean it up. I would use a straight ruler. 4.5 inch up here in the top. Square down here. And we cut. We have 1, and then we're going to turn our ruler over like this again. And this little guy, this little triangle down to the bottom, has to hang off the bottom. There's a little green line for you to see. 4.5 inches at the top. And we simply cut, 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 and we have these half square triangle units that go here and here. So I want to talk to you just for a minute about color placement on these. As you can see, it's not the same fabric. You could actually use 2 fabrics, but I think 3 fabrics gives it a lot more interest. So we're using 2 kind of the same tones of fabric. So it's the leaf fabric down here at the bottom, and then this kind of dotted fabric. These are kind of the same, yet a little bit different. And then of course we want something really to contrast for the rest of this. So use batiks, half square triangles, the little peaky and spike block, half square triangles. This is 1 unit. We keep going, sewing them together like this. For borders for this one, my famous 2.5, 1.5, 3.5 inches. 2.5 inches first, 1.5 inches here, 3.5 inches out there. So this is really fun and quick. I know it looks difficult, but it isn't difficult at all. You can do it. All right, so if you would like the pattern for this, we are offering it free to you, downloadable pattern, and it will be linked at the end of this video, pnqs.net. That's all for today. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next week for another edition of Quilting Quickies.